Hey guys, so as you see, I am back with a book review. But before we even get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. Or you could even hit the like button for me. Let me know how many people like the video outside of people that just watched it. Or you could even hit the little bell below so you can get all the notifications from when I sit here and I upload a video or a book review or a product review. So I always start rubbing my nose. You guys, I'm not picking my nose. I swear I'm not. The issue is sometimes my nose just start itching. Anyway, so as you guys see, I ordered this book on my own, right? And I feel like this book was on my wish list on Amazon for at least a month. I feel like that's a stretch. I rushed and bought this damn book. So trying to get it on the camera. There we go. So it's called Rabbit by Patricia Williams, right? And as if the book cover wasn't enough to draw me in, look at how that shit shimmers. I love books like this. This book, Rabbit by Patricia Williams, it's a memoir, right? Y'all, this book, let me start off by saying, this book, the author didn't reach out to me. I didn't reach out to the author. I have no connection whatsoever to the author. I would love to meet this author. Like, to even just go and get coffee one day, like, and just sit down and talk. I would love to. That would be, like, definitely, that's now, like, on my bucket list before I go. I would love to meet this author. Because, you guys, the last time I read a book that made me feel this many emotions was that book, A Piece of Cake by Cupcake Brown. I know I made a video about it at least 3 months ago. You guys, this book talks about so much. It talks about how Rabbit overcame so much. And it just was like, and again, this is the part where I'll sit here and say, like, trigger warning too. Because if you're not, like, able to read about sexual assault or things involving rape or molestation of children or drug addiction, this might not be the book for you, or you should proceed with caution while reading it. There's nothing, like, gory or hugely in detail about it, but at the same time, I like to put it out there because it's not for my discretion to decide what you can handle and what you can't handle reading. So this book, y'all, I cried while reading this book. I laughed, I smiled, I cried, I felt angry, I felt hurt, I felt like I just wanted to reach in and hug the author myself, like, at points. I don't know. Like, this book was one of those wake-up call type books of, like, we all feel like we're going through stuff, right? We all feel like, oh, I'm at the end of my rope and I don't know what I'm going to do. We all feel that way. But this book was one of those moments of, like, to see someone else. Do I have something in my hair? Is that the camera? I think I had something in my hair. So it was like one of those books to see, like, someone, like, going through so much and you're just like, how the hell did you overcome this? Like, one of the things that stuck out to me the most was, okay, so Rabbit, her name's Patricia, but they call her Rabbit, right? She grew up in one of the most dysfunctional goddamn families I have ever read about in my life. Like, I think we all feel like we grew up in a dysfunctional family, but I think hands down she might have it. Because her grandfather, for starters, was a bootlegger. And her grandfather was crazy as shit. Now, her grandfather, I had, like, a love-hate relationship with her grandfather for the parts where he was existing in the book. Because her grandfather, like, he kind of reminded me of, like, I don't know, like a Southern grandfather. Where, like, in the book, I believe, is based mainly in Atlanta, right? And it's a true story. So it's like her grandfather is very no-nonsense, right? He's like that person in the family where he keeps the family together finances wise. Like, he calls the shots. He's not gonna question granddad when granddad watching his TV show. You need to shut the hell up and let him listen to it. Do not interrupt him. Her grandfather don't play. And it's like, there's one point in the book where, like, this woman is testing her grandfather. Like, she's testing her. And, like, it just reminded me of that part of, like, The Color Purple, right? Where, like, I don't remember her name, but, like, Oprah Winfrey's character, when the woman, like, tried to tell, like, Oprah Winfrey, like, yeah, you need to go about your business because I'm here and this is my man or whatever. And when Oprah just flipped shit and the guy like closed down the piano like it's time to go, that's how I felt. Like, that's how I felt reading this part.
Good night, y'all.
And not if you my man. You're just a big old heifer.
Like I said, fine with me.
Whoop, time to go.
I can't even explain why, but that was like the first thought that came to mind was like, yeah, y'all all need to get the fuck up out of there because Granddad about to lose his mind. And that's exactly what he did. He lost it. What bothered me too was her mother. Like, her mom throughout the whole book, like, her mom to me was that prime example of just because they're family or just because someone is your parent does not mean you have to stay involved with them. Her mom was... I don't think I've ever read about such a shitty mom before in my life until I read that book. Because it was just like the lack of support that her mother gave her children, the lack of direction that she gave, the lack of love and affection, it just bothered me. Because it's just like her mother was very clearly an alcoholic, but it just was the way that she was willing to use Rabbit and her children for whatever would benefit her drove me insane. There was a part where like sexual assault did come up, and I'm just like, it's moments like that where it's like, what if you had just been like just a little bit more loving and attentive and like affectionate towards your kids? Maybe they would have came and told you when something happened, and maybe you would have actually did something about it. It's just like, to me, it was one of those things where like this shit could have been prevented, but you were too busy doing what you were doing. You were too busy being drunk. You were too busy drinking and trying to be ghetto fabulous or whatever it was that you were doing. And it just bothered me the way that they were in poverty. They were deep in poverty. And her mom wasn't really doing shit about it. Like, her mom just wasn't really doing nothing about it. I didn't like the way that her mom tried to like teach them how to like swindle the system and try and scam and scheme. Like, it was to the point where when her mom found out, like, if you go to church, like, sometimes the churches will have like a pantry that they'll donate stuff to like people in need. Her mom really had them going and getting baptized and going to churches just to go and get food from churches. And it's not like she was just doing it at one church. She's doing it at multiple churches in a day. Like, what are you teaching your kids? And it's just like, it's funny because Pat walked away like, oh, you know what? I want to wait until marriage to have sex. And I don't want to be a hoe because that's not how God would want me to be. Whereas her sister was kind of like, that shit ain't faze me. Like, and her brothers were a trip. It clearly ain't phased them because she looked over one day at church and they were all asleep. So it very clearly didn't phase her siblings. There was just such a great lack of like a father figure outside of the grandfather. And when circumstances changed so that the grandfather was not around as much, my heart just kind of dropped because it was just like, although he wasn't the best example or role model, a lot of stuff that happened to them would not have went down if the grandmother or the grandfather was still there. It just wouldn't have went down. And it just broke my heart because I'm just like, damn. Like, it just kind of reminded me how like in every family, there's that one pillar where like things ain't perfect while they around, but like while they are there, like certain shit just wouldn't go. Like certain things just wouldn't happen. So like it really broke my heart for her. I believe the first time that Rabbit got pregnant, she was either 12 or 13. That killed me. It killed me. Her sister had just gotten pregnant a couple months before. So they had their kids within a year apart. Not even within a year apart. And what bothered me the most was like I felt like her mom played on her emotions so much. At one point, CPS like had got involved. And it bothered me because, again, I just felt like the system failed her. Rabbit. I feel like they failed her. I feel like they failed her siblings. It just was like, it bothered me. But then you'll get these women or these families that are taking care of their kids, and CPS will pop up, oh, so-and-so called a complaint and this and that. And it really isn't shit. But like CPS will hound them and harass them and, oh, we're going to take your kids because this and that. But when you have people that are dead ass not taking care of their kids, they're really not feeding their kids. Their kids are walking around looking dingy as hell, busted and smelling terrible, going to school without their hair done, unbathed, unfed. Like, how does that like slip through the system and CPS is involved? Like, I don't understand. But the thing that, like, the big thing I took away from this book was Rabbit saying how she was really saved by love. Every stage that she was going through something, there was a person that came into her life that really was like the glimmer of hope for her. Whether she saw it coming or not, them being in her life really helped change her life in the direction she was going in. It was literally just like undying, unconditional love that she was given by certain people. It really made a big difference for her. It's her book. The story is, it's something. It is something. I don't remember, like I said, the last book that really moved me like this was that book, A Piece of Cake. Because I've never felt such an array of emotions. In the end, I was satisfied with the end of the book. I was satisfied with how it went. I loved the book so much, I even read to the damn acknowledgments. I read to the last page of the book because I didn't want it to end. If she ever wrote another book, I would read it so damn fast. If she put it on pre-order, I would be the first person to order it because her story is so remarkable. Her story is so remarkable. There were points and times in the book where I was just like, are we going to find out that she passed away? Are we going to find out this or that? The only thing that I was a little bit sad about was not finding out entirely what happened with her grandfather. I would like to know more about that. I'm not going to tell you guys what happened with him, but I would have loved to know, like, what ended up happening to him over time. Because I kind of kept waiting for him to come back and, like, rescue her, and, like, it just didn't happen. I don't know, I kind of felt like that kid that was, like, waiting at the door for their dad to come back from, like, the store, and it never fucking happened. So that's how I felt, like, with her grandfather. I'm just like, when is he gonna come back? Like, I just wanted him to come back and, like, just sweep her, like, into his arms and just make it all better. And it didn't happen that way, but she was saved by a lot of different people. A lot of people took part in helping her to become a better person, a better woman, a better mother. This is one of the most inspirational books I have read. One of the most relatable books, one of the most inspirational books. It was heartbreaking as hell. It was heartwarming. It was playful yet direct. Yeah, I loved this book. I really loved it. Like, there were points where I really cried. I cried. Boo-hoo, cried like I knew the lady. I cried reading it because it was just like, how the hell can someone go through all of this? Like, it was a lot. So, you guys have to check out the book. I know I had ordered it from, like, used on Amazon because, you guys, I'm cheap. I could have ordered it, like, on Kindle, but I don't know. To me, I'm like, I'm not spending more than $5-6 for a book on Kindle. I might as well get the physical copy. So I think I spent maybe like $9 after like shipping and stuff, because it wasn't on Amazon Prime. So I might have spent like $9-10 for the book, but it is worth it. This book is one of those books where no, you can't borrow it. You're gonna have to buy your own. I don't feel comfortable letting anyone borrow that book, because that book is like really that's gonna stay on my bookshelf for a long time. I hope that when my daughter gets older, my book will still be there on the bookshelf so that she can read it. So maybe she can have the same experience or similar experiences that I had while reading it, because I really think it's a good book. I would love to see it like be taught like as a college course or in like a college classroom. I really think it would be good, because there's so many different talking points on it. There's so many things that can be taken away from it. And it's so relatable. So like maybe in like a women's studies class or like a urban studies class, like I really think it will be good. So for now, you guys, I am out.
Your whole style and approach, I invented. And I ain't taking that back, cause I meant it. Get it. Wow, wow, wow. Get it. Wow.